Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sunday live reading with me, Marie from Blue Rose Energy. I'm so happy you're able to join me today. And as always, this will be recorded and put on Instagram and my YouTube channel. So if you miss the live reading, you can still catch your messages for the week by tuning into the YouTube channel or Instagram TV. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for joining me. I'm just waving here. Why won't it wave? Oh, I'm trying to wave at you, Teresa. It won't let me. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start at the top with Capricorn and work our way down to Sagittarius as we do. And happy August 1st, everyone. I just made a post welcoming the energy of the month of August. It is a time of manifestation and completion. You're going to notice a lot of cycles completing, and you know, it could be an interesting month for everyone with respect to some of the things that you've been working on, right? Like the things that you've been working on attracting, the things that you've been working on embodying, the things that you've been working on clearing. Right? The clearing and healing and making room for the new. That is what August is all about. And you're going to start to see things happening. You're going to start to see some movement. The idea is, do you believe it's possible? Right? Whatever it is that you're trying to bring in, the energy that you're working on attracting, do you believe it's possible? That's the big question to ask yourself. Do you believe it's possible? And are you saying you believe it's possible? You might not see it before your eyes right now, but do you believe it's possible? I believe anything's possible. So let us begin with Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the period of August 2nd to August 8th. Okay, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Wow, let's just start. No big deal. We've got the Death and Hermit card. Nice. No big deal. No big deal. Nice, easy reading to start. Nice light messages here. Very, very nice. Okay. It's that kind of month, you guys. It's that kind of month. My goodness. Okay. Can I just say, we've got Death card. We've got Hermit card. We've got the Hanged Man. We've got the Empress and the Tower. Capricorns are going through this big time. Hi, Oksana. Hi, Talia. Oh, it's nice. I can't seem to wave back at anybody. I'm trying. It just doesn't want to let me. Anyway, okay, Capricorns, here we go. You are going through a major transformation, Capricorn. You're going through it. This is essentially you becoming a new person. Okay, so it's time to get with the program and start reflecting on what the last chapters, that's right, plural, what the last chapters of experience have taught you about yourself. And this reflection needs to happen before you're going to go through this, okay? So we're not going to be able to take any shortcuts, okay? And I say we because I'm Capricorn Sun, so I have a few placements in Capricorn, but my Sun is in Capricorn, so I'm feeling this big time. So I hope it's resonating for anyone listening who's a Capricorn, but you are in the nest. And that's the best place for you to be right now. So don't judge yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't think that something's matter with you. Don't give yourself any labels like I am depressed, I am a mess, I am. Be careful what you're using after the word I am. It's a very, very powerful spell you're casting, my friends. So right now you are in the nest. You are healing. You are reflecting. You are understanding yourself. You are not suffering from mental illness. You are healing. Okay? I know it feels like that. I know. It feels like we're losing it, but we're losing it because we're going to gain something in its place. That which is lost will be space for something new. Okay? Now, in the recent past energy, you have sacrificed. There have been sacrifices, and there may be more coming because of that Tower card sitting ahead in the not so distant future. So my dear Capricorns, ease and grace. Let things go with ease and grace. If things don't want to stick around, don't chase them. I just made a whole bunch of posts on not chasing people, places, experiences, emotions. Just sit where you are and accept the things that are leaving. Right? And if things are revealing, August is a big month of truth too. So if August is showing you a bunch of truth, then accept it. Accept it, don't fight it, don't resist it, and understand that whatever it is that's on its way out is trying to make room. It's not here to make you suffer. Suffering is something that as human beings we are always afraid of. The fear of suffering keeps us in dynamics and in patterns that we wouldn't necessarily remain in if we weren't afraid of suffering. So once you free yourself of the concept of suffering, that everything that comes and goes is just, helping you oscillate between energies, then you start to really see things as, part of the process, which is what the Hanged Man is all about. It's part of the process, my friends. Now, I can see that on your mind right now, you're like, why aren't my efforts giving me any results? Right now, you're like, why am I spinning my wheels? You're not spinning your wheels, Capricorn. It's just too soon to move. It's not time yet. It's not time to drive yet. It's time to sit in the nest and reflect. And this is all happening because you're about to create something gigantic. You're about to birth something into this world, something very creative, something that speaks to your passion, your soul, your inspiration. There is something cooking here, but it's not time for it to come out. It's time for you to stay in the nest. That's why you see this Empress in reverse. It's not time yet, okay? This is happening because something is being created, Something is being brought into focus for you. Something is being initiated, Capricorn. Something is being initiated, but it's going to involve you accepting the shakedown. There's a shakedown here. As you can see, this tower is falling. It's going into the ocean, and you are standing on the beach with a couple of friends going, oh my God, what the hell am I supposed to do now? And, there may be a temptation to run into the ocean to try and grab some of this tower and put it back together. But, that's why it's in reverse. You've got to allow this transformation. I always see the tower as a moment where all that no longer serves is got to go, because there's only so much room and there's only so much that you can focus on. Well, you know what I mean? Like, you can't spread yourself too thin. So the things that no longer serve your path ahead, they have to go. They have to go. And these beautiful lightning bolts here that are setting your tower on fire are helping that. That is this cleansing energy from the universe coming in to change the status quo. The change in the status quo is going to bring you to a place where you are going to find a new path for yourself. Now, as I keep going here, oh wow, this is lovely for you, Capricorn. I see that what's on your mind right now is, how is everyone in my life going to respond to these massive changes and sacrifices and truth bombs and me being in the nest, and sort of withdrawing from others right now? How is the public going to respond to this? How are my friends and family going to respond to this? Are people going to acknowledge me? And am I seeking acknowledgement? And why am I seeking acknowledgement? These are the questions, Capricorn. These are the questions. And the way other people see you, it seems that they see that you're shifting, that you're changing who you are as a leader. You're changing who you are as sort of the authority over your own life, right? Like you may have been one way up until now, and now you're discovering that way doesn't feel comfortable anymore. So you're going to go a different way, and other people in your life can see it, and it may make some of them leave, right? You got to be okay with that, Capricorn. If people in your life decide that this new version of you is not someone that they understand or resonate with, then thank these people and let them go. And if they come back, that's great. If they don't, then, you know, then that means that you had the time together that you were meant to have. And if you're meant to have more time together, then you will align again. And and there's no reason to feel, you're all about your feelings right now. I can see that. I was going to say there's no reason to feel upset about it, but you know what? You might be feeling upset about it. The moon is a time where you are feeling like you want to transition, you want to experience this unknown aspect of yourself. You're curious about this feminine energy that's creating something in you. We see that Empress and now the Moon card. But you're also a little bit weary of it. You know, you're a little bit like, what is it? What is this unfamiliar feeling that I suddenly have? What are these unknown desires and these unknown intuitive impulses that I'm starting to have and feel? And am I starting to come online with some sort of information that I don't quite understand the purpose of? It's all very unfamiliar for you right now, Capricorn, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse, right? Like that's how you're feeling it. Like, but you know what I love is that at the end of the day, look what we have. The Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is your ultimate wish fulfillment. So Capricorn, stay on course. Stay on course and remember that this is all part of the process. If you start to feel sacrifices, if you start to feel perceived loss, if you start to feel that the status quo slipping away from you is causing you to feel an element of like, why me? Or an element of, sort of feeling sorry for yourself and feeling bad about yourself and saying a narrative in your mind that isn't one that trusts that this is all happening for a reason. I was talking about this last week as well. Like, when you crack the shell open of something and the little baby chick wants to come out, parts of that shell have to get destroyed. Some of it falls away on the ground and gets crushed. But ultimately, it's all for the betterment of that little baby chick, okay? That little baby chick has to be able to come out of that shell. And that is you right now, Capricorn. You are coming out of your shell, and it feels really unfamiliar for you, and it feels a little bit like we got Justice on the bottom of the deck, which says that you're trying to evaluate the virtue of all of this. You're trying to understand good versus bad, right versus wrong. You're trying to understand things, and you're looking at your own virtue here, and you're wondering, am I being virtuous? Am I being honest? Am I, you're asking yourself a lot of these questions, which is what happens when we're in the nest. Just make sure that, you're not hiding anything from yourself, and that you're being as authentic as you can, considering that you are changing daily. You are changing and evolving all the time, Capricorn. Now, this Knight of Cups here really makes me think that not only are you changing on a level where your status quo is changing and you're creating something new, but emotionally you are transforming. There could be a solid emotional shift in your life that could bring in something that you didn't think you would experience. Something genuine and authentic that you didn't think even existed anymore, Capricorn. This is beautiful. This is really beautiful, and your imagination is going to be the thing that leads you. So don't discount imaginative or inspired visions that you have about something you want to do or experience. Don't discount your imagination. It is guiding you. And then we see the Devil card here, which is you, Capricorn, but it's in reverse, which suggests to me that you are stepping back from your ego. You are stepping back from your ego, and you are making a choice here to really pay attention to your inner being as opposed to the outer being, right? And it's very interesting because on your mind, though, we do see that you're wondering, how is everyone going to respond to me? And that could be because this is early. You haven't transitioned yet. We see that, the Death card is being covered by the Hermit card, which suggests that in order to achieve this rebirth, you need to understand things in solitude first. You need to go into the nest and withdraw from the external world so that you can clearly, without the perceptions of other people clouding your your perception, you need to formulate. You need to understand. You need to review, because what's coming up for you is a shakedown. The status quo is shaken down, Capricorns, and you're heading into a brand new chapter. You really are, and it's going to be your ultimate wish. So what is that wish? What is that wish? That Nine of Cups really tells me emotional satisfaction is on the way for Capricorns. Now, to close this Capricorn reading, let's get an angel card here to close out Capricorn's reading. Blessings and abundance. Yeah, go Capricorn. You're getting this beautiful message here. I really feel Capricorns have been going through it. Okay, Capricorns have been going through that, like, it's like a meat grinder, for God's sakes, and it's churning you out. It's not for nothing though. Don't ever think the universe has forgotten about you, Capricorn. This is all going to bring in abundance and blessings for you. Wow. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, Capricorn. You can find your a little bit longer, more in-depth reading on YouTube. It'll be posted tonight or tomorrow for the week of August 2nd to August 8th. And you can find that will be available soon. And if you want something even more in-depth, you can always contact me for a personal reading. Okay, now let us go on to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, my dear Aquarius friends, let's see what's going on. Aquarius has been in a position in all my readings that Aquarius has been trying to understand something so that they can let it go. And it seems to revolve around a relationship. So let's see if that is still the case or not. Let's see if Aquarius made any headway last week in trying to understand the dynamics of that relationship. Okay, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the period of August 2nd to the 8th. Yeah, Chariot, Queen of Swords. Okay, Aquarius is still trying to make a change here. Yep, still overwhelmed, still thinking about that relationship. Oh, my dear Aquarius. There's that Tower and the Lovers. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, it looks like you're still thinking about things and you're still trying to bring energies into alignment, but what's really holding you back is this feeling that you are just wavering about your ideals. You're not sure. You're not sure if it was you or them. You keep running around in circles and you're not confident mentally about what to do. And that is delaying this Chariot. Okay, so there is something that Aquariuses just can't seem to wrap their head around. They can't seem to understand, with respect to their ideals, how this all happened, okay? And they're wondering, was this relationship ever in union? Like, was this union ever in harmony? This has been coming up consistently for Aquarius. So Aquarius, you know, you are at the end of a cycle here, and you're done. You're tired. You're needing, you know, to refuel, if you will, and you've come so far in terms of evolving how you feel connected to your inspiration, passion, intuition, but it's like you're starting to understand that regardless of how magnetic you are, you might not be able to bring back something. You just keep thinking about this inner celebration that you almost feel robbed of, and you know, everyone else around you sees you trying to start something new but feeling really challenged to do it. It's almost like you're not talking to people about this. You're keeping this all in and you're overthinking it. You might need to talk to someone about this. Maybe that would help. Maybe that would help you sort of unpack your authenticity, but I feel like you don't trust, Aquarius. You're not trusting anyone to let them in on what you're overthinking. You almost feel so overwhelmed by the outcomes. You are afraid. You are afraid. There is an element of fear here where it's like you just, you know that if you were to contact this person, I feel like Aquariuses want to have a conversation with someone, but they just feel completely bound up because they keep overthinking the fact that this person probably doesn't want to talk to them. And that's just it. It's like there's no confidence in you, Aquarius. This Queen of Swords card is a Libra energy. And so it's sort of like you're of two minds here, and usually you're quite clear. But in this case, the Queen of Swords is in reverse. So that suggests that you're not clear. Your confidence is low. Your confidence is low and your spirit is tired. Spiritually, you are so tired right now, Aquarius, and you feel so overwhelmed, but it's like, it's overwhelming you, I think, because you just need a rest from this. You need a rest from this. You need a rest from this, and you need to decide very soon whether or not it's, you're going to stay or go. Are you going to mentally keep focusing on this, or are you going to mentally detach and release this? This does not seem to be a choice that's going to be easy for you. You've attached a lot of meaning to this person, experience, relationship. A lot of meaning has been attached to this, and it's almost like you're trying to force something together that's not harmonious right now. It really makes me feel like Aquarius is trying to push something together that's not on. The Tower says something to you right now, Aquarius. The Tower is saying to you, stop trying to put something back together that needed to fall apart. Okay, Aquarius, I know, I'm sorry. That's probably not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. The Tower in reverse is saying, stop trying to put something together that needed to fall apart for your own betterment and your own new path. And you just keep looking at it thinking, no, there's obviously something I can do. It's almost like you're trying to force, or I don't want to use the word manipulate, but it's almost like you're trying to manipulate two things that don't want to go together so that they're together, and they don't belong together. Bear in mind that you could be, by doing this, you could be actively preventing yourself from being in alignment, right? Like if you're trying to force something together that isn't supposed to be together, Aquarius, then what are you missing out on? What are you missing out on? You could be, ooh, see, the card keeps falling. You're missing out potentially on something that is meant for you. You know what I mean? And it's all because of this sort of inability to think about it in a different way. Yeah, Aquarius, you really need to shift your perspective about this and see that if something is gone, if something leaves you, if something energetically is not aligned to you anymore, you can't run into the ocean and chase it to try and put it back together. It is what it is, right? And if it's not in harmony with you and it's not in alignment with you, then something is, something else is. And this wasn't it. This wasn't it. Okay, Aquarius, it wasn't it. And your spirit is tired. Your spirit is so tired of focusing on this. And I think in the near future, Aquarius, potentially sometime in August, you're going to make a decision about how to proceed mentally about this. Are you going to keep thinking about it, or are you going to let it go? And I think that that's coming up for you very soon. This card is representative of Aquarius, actually, the Seven of Swords. And so it's really, really interesting. You're going to step into something here, Aquarius. You're going to step into understanding yourself in a more truthful, honest, non-judgmental way about this dynamic. Okay, this dynamic is going to shift, I think, for you in August, if you allow it. I mean, that Tower in reverse suggests that you're not allowing these shifts to happen. You're forcing. You're trying to control the process too much, Aquarius, and it just doesn't, if you can't force it, if it doesn't fit, you can't force it. Okay, let's get an angel card here to close out Aquarius's reading. Take charge and action. Very interesting angel message for you, Aquarius. You know, this almost looks like an arrow to me. This is a beautiful card to suggest that, like, if there is an actionable action you can take, if there is an element where you can do something, do it. But only when you are in the position to take action, right? You need to take an action here that is within your control. I feel you're trying to push things together that are outside of your control. So take charge and action here with things that are within your control. What is within your control? It's within your control to let this go. It's within your control to allow the status quo to change. It is within your control to make a decision, right? Those things are all within your control. Is it in your control to force a union together? Absolutely not. Is it within your control to decide what relationships work out and which ones don't? Totally not. Is it within your control to go in the past and change something? Totally not. So it's almost like you're focusing on things that aren't in your control and trying to change those instead of the things that are in your control. Focus on those things, my dear Aquarius. Okay, thank you so much for those messages. And again, the more in-depth Aquarius reading will be available on YouTube tonight or tomorrow. But for now, let us keep going. Let's jump into Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August 2nd to August 8th. Let's see, what are the messages here for Pisces? Our first water sign of the day. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the period of August 2nd. There we go, to August 8th. Okay. Pisces. Okay, just move those over a bit. All right, Pisces, let's see. Ooh, Pisces. Okay, let's have a look here. It's on the bottom of the deck. Nine of Pentacles, or Nine of Wands is on the bottom of the deck. We just saw that for Aquarius. Okay, so Pisces, what I can see here for you is that you are working on manifesting. You are manifesting something. You are trying to bring into alignment that which will serve you. You are letting Spirit take the lead. Okay? Now, the only thing holding you back is this sort of nostalgic feeling where you're looking into the past and almost sort of, what's the idea here? Is that you're looking into the past, but it's like you've got this perception of things that's not serving you. It's like you're holding a grudge, okay? You could be holding a grudge. You could be emotionally blocked because of something that you didn't deal with. There is an emotional block from the past here, Pisces. There it is, Six of Cups. So, but it's in reverse. So that's what I mean. Like there's an emotional block here that needs some light shed on it, which is interesting. And that is what's top of mind for you. The end of the day here is that it's causing you to feel like you can't take a leap of faith. Right? And yet everything you touch turns to gold here, Pisces. And yet you're like, no, it doesn't. I need to have a plan because the last time I didn't have a plan, things went to hell. It's almost like you're looking back at a time where you did take a leap of faith and you're saying, like, look at all the problems that ensued after that. It's like your perspective needs some fine-tuning here. You know, your perspective needs to shift. Oops. It seems that in the recent past, you sort of stepped into a new chapter. Okay, so you've stepped into something new and you're applying the rules of the past to this new thing. And it's causing you to go, I don't like this. It's causing you to say, do I stay? Do I go? Or do I do something completely different again? Like it's almost causing you to feel like you're working towards something that is not going to work out. And it's interesting because I was just saying at the beginning of this reading, do you believe it's possible? When I see the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost like you're saying to yourself, I don't believe it's possible because it didn't work out last time, right? You're saying, I don't believe it's possible because last time I did this, it didn't work out. And that's where we see this Sun in reverse, is like you're not actually seeing how sustainable and plentiful and abundant the path ahead is. You're not seeing it that way, and that's holding you back from being able to manifest things because you're unwilling to take a leap of faith based on actions that have happened in the past. Things that have happened in the past are making you feel like, well, it's going to be the same outcome again. And as a result, that's sort of halting your development a little bit. You're in a place, yeah, like where it's the Page of Pentacles in reverse, where you're halting action. You're halting the action. You're got your heels dug in, convinced that things are going to turn out the way they always do because that's how it is. Well, it's not always how it is. You almost need to remind yourself that you're starting a new chapter, and you started it already, right? You already started it. So keep going, take that leap of faith. Take that leap of faith, Pisces. Don't let this whole thing go to hell because you're not willing to take a leap of faith. You know, that's sort of what I'm picking up on here for you. And definitely other people are seeing that you're not letting go of something that needs to be let go of mentally. You are holding an emotional and mental grudge. Look at that. You got 2 6s in reverse, 6 of Cups and 6 of Swords. That really, really solidifies it. You are holding a mental and emotional grudge about a situation, and as a result, it's holding you back from taking the necessary leap of faith into the future, your new path, the future path that you sort of aligning yourself up to through all this manifestation that you've been working on. Now, it seems like your biggest sort of worry, but your biggest want is that you want to be able to embody this King of Cups energy, which is very Scorpio energy, which is related to transforming, emotional transformation that occurs and leaves you able to be an observer who doesn't evaluate, right? Doesn't get involved in the drama. Very, very compassionate, but unattached, right? Unattached to the outcome. That's what we need here. You need to be unattached to the outcome. You're desperately trying to hang on to an outcome because if it doesn't happen perfectly that way to you, that means it's just like it was in the past and it's going to be unsuccessful or unpleasant or what have you. But it's like you really need to detach yourself emotionally from the outcome and go with the flow, because then you're really going to be stepping into this as above, so below energy where you're able to manifest everything that's aligning with you. You're going to be able to embody that which you desire. And once we embody that which we desire, we start to see it in the physical world all around us. And that seems to be the path you're on right now, Pisces, is understanding that. But it's going to take some healing. You got to let go of whatever this emotional grudge is and this mental thing that you need to let go of. See how you're in a boat and you're going away? With your swords, you need to go away with your swords and heal and recover so that you can have a blank slate. You can take a leap of faith and start again. Very interesting messages here for Pisces. Now, Pisces, I would guess, my bet on this is that your I am statements and your belief in things being possible is low right now. And that needs to shift. That needs to shift because you are ending something and beginning something. So we don't want to walk into the new chapter with all of this energy from the past chapter, right? We want to walk in with a blank slate and a fresh idea about who we are. Your I am statements. Have a look at those. Now let's get an angel card here. Compassion. Yep, it flew right out. Having a compassionate lens right? Didn't I say the King of Cups is very compassionate? And yet he doesn't need to get involved. He can detach. You can be compassionate and let go. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is let go of an experience, person, relationship, whatever. If it's not in the present anymore, compassionately release it with love. This grudge you're holding, I think, needs a lens of compassion. That could be why you're getting this message, is that whatever this energy is that you're hanging on to from the past, that's creating this feeling that that you can't bring in whatever you need, you gotta look at it and give it some compassion. Sometimes I say to people, they don't often like it, but I'm like, it's very easy to be compassionate to the person who was the victim. Try being compassionate to the person who was the perpetrator, right? The person who hurt you. If someone hurt you in the past, mentally and emotionally, add a lens of compassion to that. That will help you understand it and let it go. That doesn't mean that you're defending that person's actions, and that doesn't mean that you are saying they were right and you were wrong. No. Well, all that means is that you're able to say, I have compassion for that person and I am releasing them. And I'm no longer hanging on to that. I was reading something beautiful the other day that said, when someone hurts you and then you become angry or sad or depressed or anxious about it, you eat the poison that way. That way you ate the poison. Don't eat the poison. Leave the poison on the ground. Don't eat it. Do you know what I mean? Don't eat that poison. That means that you've allowed that person's negative intention, potentially, or their energy that's not aligned with yours to become inside you. You've embodied the thing which hurt you, right? And so we can sort of step around that by being compassionate. The more open your heart is, the more you can heal it. Do you know what I mean? You can allow that flow, even if you're very compassionate. You can heal something without having to eat that poison. Does that make sense? I need to flesh out that thought a little bit more, but it's really a time where you're needing to make some choices about how you're going to go ahead. Are you going to be a grudge keeper? Are you going to hold the grudge, or are you going to be compassionate and release it? It's all up to you, Pisces. But whatever you decide to do, make sure you know that the lenses you wear will be the lenses that you see the world through. So if you're wearing lenses of holding a grudge, right, holding an emotional grudge, then you're not going to see the world as being as sustainable and plentiful and abundant. But if you're wearing the lenses of compassion, you might just find that this Sun card comes reversal. And you'll find that you are able to see just how abundant and plentiful and resourceful and sustainable the future could be. It's all about perspective, my dear Pisces. Yes. Oh, I love that. Okay, Pisces. I'm going to leave it at that for you. Very interesting. I wonder what your reading for the week, your general reading that I will post on YouTube, will say for you. Those readings are a little bit more in depth because I'm not trying to get through 12. So I have more time to focus and get into your reading on YouTube. But I really like doing these messages for the week on Instagram. It's nice to get a little sneak peek at what's going on for each placement. Now remember, these are Sun, Moon, and Rising, so try and watch your reading for all 3 placements. And if you don't know your 3 placements, I can help you with that. Okay, let's move on to Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Aries. Okay, Aries, what's going on for my first fire sign of the day? Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August 2nd to August 8th. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Aries, what's on the bottom? The Fool on the bottom of the deck. So Aries, you are starting a new path. Keep that in mind as you go through your week. Okay, so what I can see here for you, Aries, is that right now you're at a time where you're sort of feeling like you're at a loss. Okay, you're feeling at a loss in terms of your identity, your security, your sense of grounding. All of that seems to be up in the air and you feel lost. In other versions of this card, what you see is two figures standing outside this window, but it's sort of at a different perspective, and you can see the snow falling, and you can see that this building is like a church. So in taking that into consideration, you could easily go inside, right? You could go inside. You don't have to stay outside in the bitter cold. You could go inside, but it's almost like there's this truth that you're facing right now. It's an inner and outer loss of faith in yourself. You're feeling like you're having a major setback right now, Aries. And it's interesting because what's causing this to be such an obstacle for you is this idea that you need to look around more carefully at your surroundings to see what, like, just as I said, you could go inside that church. You don't have to stand outside by yourself in the cold, bleeding all over the place, okay, as it's pictured in this card. You could go inside that church, but you're not even mindful enough right now to look around and see the church. All you can focus on is looking at that blood falling on the snow and saying, woe is me. I feel so bad for myself. I have all these losses around me. I'm losing things left, right, and center. And yet, if you were to just turn around, which implies that you're not really focusing on being mindful. You're caught up in your own head right now, Aries, and you're not looking around to see all the things to be grateful for and all of the supports around you. That's the thing I'm seeing here, is that there are more supports around you than you even realize right now. And it could be because you're starting a new chapter, so it's all very unfamiliar right now. Right now, there's so many messages on the table that suggest you need to get ready for a big shift. You've got the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, Aries, both in reverse. This Knight is telling you to get mindful and get grounded because things are about to change and you're going to be realizing things left, right, and center. This Knight is here to tell you to prepare for sudden changes in your life. Patterns in your life are going to start to change, and they're in both of these cards, it suggests that change is coming and you need to sort of be aware of it, right? Like, don't have your head up the clouds, like up in the clouds. You need to be grounded. Right now is a time for you to be completely mindful of everything going on around you in the now. Don't waft into the past and don't waft into the future. Stay in the present because the present's about to change. And you need to prepare for that. Both of these cards are telling you to be mindful. So there is something you're almost looking for a shortcut, aren't you, Aries? You're looking for a way to just sort of sneak off. You're looking for a way to sneak off. Why? Why are you looking for a sneaky way out? You can stay in the now, but it's almost like the present moment. It's shaking things up so much so that you're trying to escape it by sort of running away and looking for shortcuts. And that's not really going to serve you, is it, Aries? I don't think so. I think what's going to serve you is what's coming up in the future, where you're going to have this new perspective. It's almost like things are going to shake up so much that you're going to develop this new mental perspective about things, and it's going to really shine through. Now, the past is interesting. I see the past energy here is one of emotional fulfillment. Okay, so you have experienced emotional fulfillment, but were you present enough to see it? That's the interesting thing, is like this card is often like you got your wish, your ultimate wish fulfillment has happened. And I say has happened because of the position of being in the past influences, but it's like, did you even notice it? Or were you so focused on loss that you didn't even see what you had? right? It's almost that kind of energy. Is like you're so focused on the losses that you don't see this beautiful set of 9 cups, right? Aries, you gotta start seeing things in the now without wearing the foggy lenses of the past. Okay? Now, right now, you're looking for some friends, Aries. See these 3? This 3 of Cups is a time of feeling like you know who your people are. Okay? This is a time of knowing who your people are and who are the people that you can rely on. Who are the people you can talk to? Who's your soul tribe? Who's the family that you picked to be your friends, your company, who's with you, who's surrounding you right now. This is what's on your mind. Right now, you're heavily thinking about relationships and emotional satisfaction in relationships, and you're almost seeing yourself here at a loss, right? When you think about relationships, you're like, why am I losing relationships? Where are these people? How come I don't have them around me anymore? Do you have them around you? Maybe they're still there and you just don't realize they're there. You know what I mean, Aries? This happens. This happens to us. And the rest of the world sort of sees you as going through a big transformation that feels unfamiliar because you're behaving in a way that is different, right? The external world sees you as, this is Piscean energy. So the moon card it's like ruled by Neptune, right? So it's sort of this energy that is like very mysterious and unknown to us. And that's what's happening. So that could be affecting your relationships as well. Because as you try to figure this out, you're looking around you for something stable in your relationships and you're finding that it's not really there. And that it's almost like the people around you are wondering if you're keeping secrets, if you're hiding something from the people around you. Are you the one who's being mysterious right now, Aries? It's very interesting. I mean, regardless, right now it seems like you're redefining who you are as an authority over yourself. You're changing, Aries. You are changing. You really are. And maybe we're seeing this 9 of Cups in the past because what was fulfilling to you in the past may not be fulfilling to you in the future. When I see this Aries or this Emperor in reverse, this is Aries energy. This card is Aries and it's upside down. So that tells me your biggest sort of wish and your biggest worry is you changing. You want to change because you feel this like impending change coming and you don't want to be stuck feeling loss all the time. But at the same time, you're a little bit apprehensive and worried about the change because you don't know what it's going to bring, right? That moon card here suggests that this is all very unfamiliar to you. Okay, Aries? So the Emperor, again, that's you. This is the masculine side of you, the side of you that is an authority over your life, the side of you that is independent, the side of you that is a leader. These things in you are starting to change. It's very interesting. This is, I think, going to bring about a very different side of you, and it's going to carve out some new options for you, Aries. See, the 7 of Cups in reverse as your final outcome suggests that right now you might be feeling overwhelmed by all of the changes and all of the options that present themselves for you on your path, but that ultimately you're going to realize, my dear Aries, that you and your higher self will know what to do once you sort of set yourself free from this narrative that says you're at a loss. You're far from at a loss. Look what you're beginning. You're beginning a brand new cycle of self-discovery, and there's the sun upright right after it, saying, go. This is going to be sustained. This is going to be very, very sustainable, creative, connected, constant vision. Think about what the sun does in our solar system. It's the thing that keeps us going. It is, once the sun stops, that's it. So that is a beautiful message here to see together, that having a leap of faith is going to bring in such a beautiful outcome for you. And then we see the 10 of Cups, which is such a beautiful card to suggest that you're going to get this emotional content feeling on a more stable and permanent feeling. You're not going to feel this 5 of Pentacles energy where you're stuck out in the snow bleeding outside of a very warm church that might even have medical attention available, right? You're going to step into your rainbow, as cheesy as that sounds, but it's going to involve you needing to heal mentally from all of this stuff that you're hanging on to. You need to start looking at what is the mental and the emotional baggage that you're carrying, because you're about to go on a journey, my friend, and it's going to involve aligning your energies in a brand new way by going into an emotionally unfamiliar place, albeit challenging, but using your intuition as your guide. Okay, Aries, this is getting good. This is going to get good. You just need to get out of this loss mentality that you've got yourself in and start looking around you at all of the things that are not losses, right? That the things in life that you're grateful for. Start taking pleasure in the day to day. You know, take pleasure in the day to day. When you wake up in the morning, what's your first thought? Is it that you're grateful to be alive? Or is it that you don't even want to get out of bed? Right? Like, you've got to start there. You got to start being mindful about even that. What's that first thing you think about before you get out of bed? And right when you open your eyes, what are you thinking? And what are you thinking right before you close your eyes to go to sleep? And when you're eating, are you eating in front of the TV, or are you mindfully enjoying the food? Every bite, every morsel, and being grateful for it. I know this isn't stuff that we tend to do all the time, but it's very powerful. It's very powerful to actually live your life instead of living in the past or the future, or living in your head instead of just living in the moment. You know, it's really simple advice, but it's such a powerful trigger. It's a catalyst. It's a very powerful catalyst to see change in your life. Now, let us get you an angel card to close out your reading here, Aries. Let me just give these a good shuffle. And I mean, the 3 of Cups really says that your focus right now is on relationships. You're really thinking about relationships and whether or not things are going to solidify. You just got a beautiful big giant yes card, okay? It flew on the ground as I was shuffling. Things are going to turn around. Look at this. You know, I've never seen the yes card in this deck. I've heard about it. I knew that there was a yes card, but I've never seen it. You're getting a big fat yes here, Aries. Stop sabotaging it with your mind. You've just got to keep going with the flow and stay in the now. Stop drifting. Don't drift. Stay in the now. Yes. This is a big fat yes. I love it. Okay, Aries, I'm going to leave it at that for you, my dear Aries. I have many dear Aries in my life, and I hope that they can hear this message right now. Okay, we are moving on. Second earth sign of the day. We're moving on to Taurus. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising for the period of August the 2nd to August 8th. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Let's see what's up for, or not Aries, sorry, Taurus. Taurus. We're doing Taurus now. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. I've got an Aries on the mind, I guess. Okay, Taurus. Let's see what's going on for you for this coming week. Messages for Taurus, sun, moon, and rising for August 2nd to 8th. Wow, it's so neat to see the same cards. You see me shuffle. You know I'm shuffling. Okay, Taurus. Let's have a looky-loo here for you. Now, what I can see here for you, Taurus, is that you're having a bit of a moment where you don't have a lot of faith. You've lost the faith a bit, okay? You've lost the faith a little bit here, Taurus, and it's because, sort of like Aries, you're looking at loss. and you're making loss your focus. Why? Why make loss your focus? Look what that's doing to you. Hang on. Looking at loss and not focusing on what's left, like you're just focusing on the cups that have spilt instead of seeing these 2 chalices that are ready to go. It's taking away your faith in that everything is going to be okay. That thing I started this reading with when I said, do you believe it's possible? No, right now you don't believe it's possible because you're focused on all of this emotional loss. You're focused on things that have left instead of things that you're making room for. And it's because you're looking for judgment. You're looking for justice. You're looking for the truth. You want to know what the outcome is going to be of this. What's the final judgment going to be, right? And it's almost like you're looking for a cycle to finish so that you can understand it and move forward, because you do feel a forward momentum. You do. You know, when you think about things, you're like, I gotta keep moving, but it's like you're worrying about everything, and you feel so sad, and you feel rejected, and you feel loss and remorse and betrayal, and those are the things you're focusing on. So when I said, like, think about your I am statements, I said that during this the beginning of this reading. Your I am statements right now are not serving you. You're saying, I am sad, I am remorseful, I am regretful, I have been betrayed, where's the I believe it's possible statements? What do you, right now you're not helping yourself rise from the ashes, because you're like, it's almost like you think there is no way to rise from the ashes, the ashes. You're focusing on losses, Taurus. You're focusing on losses. You need to start focusing on what could go right. And I can see like a glimmer of that with you. But it's not the overwhelming energy. The overwhelming energy is one of a lack of faith. And you're trying to tap into your intuition, which I like. This is going to serve you well, very well. But it's like, it's a very interesting reading for you, Taurus. It's like in the past, there was something that came along and like something Aquarian. There is an Aquarius that features here. You've got the Star and the King of Swords together in reverse, one in the past and one in the present. So there is an Aquarius energy here that is featuring very strongly in your reading. The King of Swords, when we see him in reverse, that suggests that it's a very hard time for you to wrap your brain around something. In the past, you experienced something that had you going, I don't know how to understand this with all of my intellect and all of my abilities to be sort of a chameleon and shift mentally as I need to. I know how to do all of that, and I still don't know how to wrap my brain around something that happened in the past. And it feels you got 2 Aquarius cards here, so it could be an Aquarius featuring here, or you could have Aquarius in your chart. It's very, very interesting. That situation has sort of tainted you. It's almost like you're like, well, if that comes up again, I won't know how to manage it. And it's like you're trying to understand that from a position of why did this situation happen? This thing that happened that was really hard for me to wrap my brain around, and I wasn't able to shift mentally like I usually can. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And that is keeping you in a place where you're focusing on emotional losses. Now, I think something is going to turn around for you, Taurus. Maybe it's this tapping into your intuition that's going to cause this turnaround, because all of a sudden we see in the upcoming energy a 9 of Cups, which says you're going to get what you're wishing for. Now that scares me a little bit, because I do see the Magician in reverse. So that makes me wonder what you're wishing for. Are you going to get what you're worrying about? I hope not. I hope not. I hope that you're not worrying so much, instead of keeping the faith that Be in a space where you believe that what you desire is possible. Okay? Because if you're sitting around saying these I am statements like, I am sad, then the universe is going to deliver you more experiences to prove to you that you are sad. The universe is always trying to prove us right. It has no choice. Energy is like attracts like. Okay? And we're energy, the universe is energy, everything around us is energy. So if your energy is aligned with I am not enough, or I am not worthy, or I am, so sad and remorseful, then the universe has to prove you right. Your perspective dictates everything, my friends. It dictates everything. What you know and what you believe is what you will see in front of your eyes. And so when I see the Magician in reverse, it's a signal to say, what are you bringing in right now? What energy are you aligning yourself with? And that's your concern. Because the where this card fell in terms of its placement is what you're worried about and what you're wanting. You're wanting to manifest your dreams. You are wanting to manifest your dreams. We see that in several cards here, that you're starting a new path. We see the Nine of Cups in the upcoming future, but this Magician in reverse has me worried that you're worrying. You know what I mean? Because I also see here, it's not just the Magician in reverse, but this whole dynamic in the present where your emotional focus on loss is actually preventing you from bringing in and having a belief or faith in what could be. What do you believe could be? Well, I don't know, because it looks like something got you in the recent past. It got you convinced that you're not as strong mentally as you are. You are a magician, my friend. That's you. You're just in reverse right now because something happened to make you question this in the recent past, but you are the magician. Maybe an Aquarius screwed around with you a little bit here. I don't know. But, you are going to be starting a new path in the future, Taurus. You really are. But it's going to involve you. It's really going to involve you changing mentally what you say to yourself. This King of Swords has got you played around with. You need to, and this is another thing I want to mention here, how you appear to others. You appear to others that you're trapped in the past. You are thinking about something in the past. That's how others see you. And maybe they see that you're looking at this. You're focused too much about whatever this was that you couldn't wrap your brain around. And it's become your focus as far as the external world can see. And living in the past is not a place that you can take residence. It doesn't exist. You can only visit. You can't take up residence in the past. And your intuition has something to say to you. Your intuition has something to say to you, and you're doing your best to keep your listening ears on, I think. You're trying to flip this dynamic, but you're having a difficult time with it because there is something that was an emotional loss, and you're focused on it. You were focused too much on a past emotional loss. And you're focusing on it because you want judgment. You want your judgment day. You want karma. You want to see the karma. You want to see that you want to see everything get balanced out. You know what I mean, Taurus? You want to see it. Well, maybe you'll see it, maybe you won't. But you need to move past this. This is not serving you. There's 2 cups right here. Look. 1, 2. Empty, open, ready to rock. These are done. They're done. Just forget about these. It's over. This is the Tower, by the way, in the background. It's time to let it go. Remember, we were talking about how the Tower is going into the ocean. You've just got to let it go bye-bye and focus on this. Your intuition has something cooking here. Time to focus on that, Taurus. What's on the bottom of the deck? Look at that. Temperance in reverse. So that says you're not being patient. You're not allowing divine timing to take place. Instead, you're struggling. You're forcing it. You're fighting. You're fighting. Stop fighting. Just change your mind about it. You are abundant. Stop thinking you don't have enough. And stop thinking that there isn't enough time. and that there isn't enough resources. The concept of time we could talk about forever, ironically, because it is a concept. Your intuition and imagination are trying to show you something. Like I said, you've got the High Priestess here. These are all from the bottom of the deck, and we see the Seven of Cups. Choices, cause and effect. Whatever cup you choose, that's the experience you're signing up for, right? So choose wisely, but know that whatever's meant for you will always remain. Okay? You can't screw it up, Taurus. You can't screw it up. You got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here. Things are changing, but the only thing that's not lubricating this wheel is your faith. You need to have that I believe it's possible statement. You know, like, okay, if you say I am abundant and that doesn't resonate with you, then say I believe it's possible that I will experience abundance. Believe it's possible. If you don't want to say I am and put it there, then just say I believe it's possible. And it is whatever it is that it is. You decide. But so long as you are fighting that dynamic and focusing on loss, this wheel is going to turn with like lots of squeaky sounds. Not very pleasant. Let that wheel go. It's a wheel of fortune. It's bringing you in fortune. Okay? It's not going to bring in anything that is going to hurt you. But you keep going round and round. You keep going round and round, Taurus, don't you? You keep going round and round. This is Capricorn energy, where you're just like going round and round on things that aren't serving you. It's time to step into that emotional unfamiliarity, using that new moon, which represents your intuition, as your guide, and just go for it. Go for it. The Nine of Cups is here. You can have what you need. You're going to get what you want. But just make sure what you want isn't more loss. Does that make sense? You got to shift that perspective. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's get Taurus an angel card to close out their reading. What do the angels want to say to Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Thank you. Ask and receive. Exactly. You know, talk to spirit. Talk to spirit. Communicate. Don't just sit in a place where you feel trapped with emotional loss. What is it that you most desire, my dear Taurus? Ask. Ask and believe it's possible, and you shall receive. But you must believe it's possible. You must know it's possible. I saw something I loved the other day that said, believe in something so much so that the universe has no choice but to make it happen. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it as eloquently as the author, but that's the bottom line here for you, Taurus. You've got to believe it's possible. And the more you focus on losses, the more you're going to attract losses. Okay? Like attracts like. Never forget that. Okay, my dear Taurus, thank you so much. Now, let us move on to Gemini, our second air sign of the day. Geminis. The Geminis have been trying to make a decision about something that they feel very inspired to do. But they were, last few readings, they were very worried about the external world judging them, the external world sort of thinking things about them. They were focused a lot on how people would respond to them making a big shift. Okay, so let's see if Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising is where they're at with that for August 2nd to August 8th. Okay. Okay, things are turning around. That's good. Very exciting. Yes, things are turning around for Geminis. Awesome. But need a bit of confidence. Okay, let's keep going. Ooh, shifting dynamics in relationships. It's good. It's what you need. It's what you need. You need to let that go. Okay, here we go. So on the bottom of the deck, let's have a quick peek. We got we got the star in reverse, just like from our last reading. You saw me shuffle though. I shuffled. Okay, Gemini, what I can see for you is that things are starting to turn around for you. You are starting to sort of make your way over that hump that says things are all full of losses, and you're making your way past that because you're really starting to understand that you can manifest new ideas and you can be a leader. So the thing helping you turn all of this around is this idea that you have an idea and you're going to go for it. Remember, we keep talking about this thing you want to go for. And it's almost like things are starting to turn around so that you feel like you can go for it. You're starting to understand that certain things might have to go, but it's going to bring in your vision. Now, you're starting to understand that. However, a little bit of lack of confidence here. This is Leo energy. You do feel questioning about, can I actually do this? That is still on your mind. But you've come further than you were last time, Gemini, because at least now you're seeing that it is part of the process if there's loss. You're starting to understand that if experiences, relationships, people, whatever, have to sort of make room, then they make room. And that you're starting to understand that it doesn't mean that it's a loss. It just means it's time. Like divine timing is starting to make sense to you a little bit here, Gemini. That's good. But you're still struggling in the area of confidence. You're still wondering if you can battle this lion. You're still wondering that, right? Now, you could be wondering that because you're just shy of making the framework of your new plan. You're just shy of being able to complete that initial shell, right? Like, it's like there's a part of you that is ready to work. You're ready to work hard at something, but you're falling a little bit short because of this, I think, perceived lack of confidence, and also because you're still sort of wondering about what the people in your life are going to think. So that's sort of delaying the idea that this initial phase is completed. August is the month of completion. If you saw my post today about August, I talked about that, about August being the month where we see cycles closing. We see things ending and beginning. We see truth in cycles and what they were designed to teach us. And so your focus on relationships is still present. As I said when I started this, Geminis have been worried about what people will think of this bold move that they want to take. There's the bold move. And there's I wonder what people are going to think about this. But I do, when I see the Five of Pentacles in reverse like this, that tells me that you are starting to release some of that. You're not seeing these growing pains as a loss anymore. You're starting to understand these things on a different level. And you're starting to look around at the people in your life and maybe starting to understand that the truth, right? The truth of the mental truth here for you, Gemini, is that there may be a feeling of separation or conflict. There is a truth that must be faced before you go forward. And I really think that truth is that you can't go looking in the external world for validation. You're not going to find it. If you find it, it's a fluke. And that's not going to help your confidence. You need to believe it. I keep saying the same things. I love that. That do you believe it's possible? That could be the truth you have to face. And you must also face the truth that external validation isn't, if you internalize everything the external world says to you, you're never going to feel confident. Your inner being must be immovable. Your inner confidence can't be dependent on the external world. If it is, then we know what that feels like. That feels like, I can't think of another word, but it feels awful. It feels awful because then you're a yo-yo. If you're in the company of people who think one way about you, then you internalize that. Then if you're in the company of another group of people who think this way about you, you internalize that. So you're constantly yo-yoing depending on how the external world sees you rather than how you see yourself. That I really feel is the truth you must face before going forward, Gemini. I feel very strongly that that is the truth because, you know, you've got the Knight of Swords here. That represents you, Gemini, okay? You were represented by this energy, and it landed in the place of what you want and what you fear. That's you. What you want and what you fear is just being yourself, irrespective of what the external world is saying to you about yourself. Your biggest challenge is to battle this lion with your self-confidence. Like, that lion to me is the external world. It's almost like that is your biggest obstacle, is just being free of whatever the external world thinks of you. And FYI, what the way the external world sees you right now is that you're about to end a cycle and start a new one. So, you know, you are getting more and more congruent as the days pass. I really think that with every reading I've done for Gemini, you are starting to become more and more in line with the concept that your inner being should not be dependent on the external world, right? Nothing should rock you to the point where you start to doubt your own confidence, right? Nothing in the external world should make you should allow that. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. Your final outcome here is the Judgment card, which we just saw for Taurus. So it's like you're waiting on the final judgment about what you're going to do. And I think you're going to take this judgment and act. I think the final judgment for you, Gemini, is going to be a situation where you accept that your inner being is always guiding you. This is it. This Knight of Rods energy is coming in this month to help you push through something where you're going to be a leader. And you're going to be liked and loved by the people around you. So, you know, if you're worried about that, don't worry about that. You're a wonderful person. Your energy is very, very calm and strong right now in this reading. And I feel like you're not about harming anything. You don't want to do any harm. So there's no reason to think that the external world won't accept this. It's almost like you need to release that need of validation, because what you're up to and what you want to push out into the world, it's blessed, it's divinely guided here. You are being directed to do this with your intuition. Something in your intuition is saying to you, it's time to put down this bunch of sticks and start over with a brand new bunch of sticks. Knight, right? This cycle is finished. You are starting a new cycle. And I think you're starting to feel it in a way that doesn't upset you as much, Gemini. It doesn't cause you as much stress. And I think there are some relationships that will change. Okay, there are some relationships in your life, Gemini, that will be different once you step into this Knight of Rods energy. Okay, and I think you're going to have to hold fast to the idea that it's all part of the process. Okay, try to release the attachment to these things. Release the attachment that you hold to relationships. Release the attachment you hold to some of these relationships, people, places, experiences, emotions, all of that stuff. You got to release the attachment to it so that you can step forward without not having the confidence. You know what I mean? Okay, Gemini, I think you're making some progress. We do see the star in reverse on the bottom of the deck for you, which says that, you know, just like the Strength card in reverse, your faith isn't quite where it needs to be. You need to believe more, and you need some time in isolation to do that. You need to withdraw from the external world. Go inwards, go to that inner being and understand it without needing the external world to validate it, right? That's where you're headed. And I like it. This is good. Good news for Gemini. Now, let us get an angel card here for Gemini for their messages for the week. Right, there we go. Okay, Gemini. What's coming up for you, Gemini? Woo! Ooh, compassion. Did you see it fly out of there? Compassion. It's back. Someone else got this. I can't remember who now. But I really feel this compassion needs to be inward. You need to have inner compassion. Compassion for yourself. Be gentle with yourself as you go through this change. Have compassion for yourself and others, right? Understanding that when you have the lenses of compassion on, you will see the world in a very different way, right? You will have compassion for yourself and others, not just for yourself. You'll be able to see other people in a way where you're not judging, you're not evaluating, you're just being compassionate, and it's a very good place for you to sit, especially when we see this hermit energy, because you need to have some compassion for yourself while you go through this process of understanding yourself, right? And we see lots of cards indicating sudden life change. This is you too, Gemini. Remember, this card represents you. So as things change, have compassion. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, right? I know your confidence is a little bit shaken and you're just starting to trust the process. So make sure you're compassionate with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't allow that inner critic to come and rain on your parade, right? Keep that inner critic. Be compassionate to that critic and they'll be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear that inner critic talking, you have to know that that's coming from a place where something in the past may have rocked you, right? And so you can compassionately release that inner critic. Compassion, 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 Gemini. Keep it compassionate, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to Cancer. Okay, let's see what messages we have for August 2nd to the August 8th, this upcoming week, for Cancer. Sun, Moon, and Rising. We just left the season of Cancer and we're in Leo currently. So we had some Cancers just have a birthday in the last month. Okay, Cancer, what is up for you? What messages does Cancer need to hear for the upcoming week? Let's find out. Bottom of, ooh, look at that, 2 of Cups left behind on the table. Oh, the Tower. Okay, well, Cancers, you're getting a shake up. You're getting a shakedown. You're getting a shake up and a shakedown, and it's unfamiliar. You have no idea what's happening right now. You're overthinking it. You're worried. But everything's going to be okay in the end. Wow, this is a beautiful reading. Okay, bottom of the deck is a 10 of Swords. Yeah, that means you're really, really ending something. Cancer, you know what? I'm actually happy for you. This could shake things up big time. This end of a mental cycle, this Tower energy that I see here, this need to go into the emotional, unfamiliar place. Your resistance. This is in reverse. The way I look at it is if the number of the card is to the left, it's in reverse. If the number of the card is to the right, when I lay them sideways, it's upright. So your emotions are sort of right now preventing you from going into the unfamiliar confidently, comfortably, right? You're having a hard time with that. And that is sort of causing you to not accept the big giant changes coming in your life, right? So this Tower is going to fall into the ocean. So it's time to vacate and accept that this is finished, okay? Now, I think you could be happy that this is finished because it was pretty intense, to say the least. So The end of this experience is telling you it's time to get up because we're about to start something new that's completely unfamiliar, but we got to do it. And there's a part of you that's like, I don't think I can get up just yet. I need a moment. I need a moment because everything I believed about myself is now come into question. You had very high ideals, and now those ideals are sort of turning themselves against you, and you're like, I don't know mentally anymore who I am or what I'm going towards or what's going on. And it's a very unfamiliar time where there could be something genuinely hidden from you. That's not an exaggeration, Cancer. You are definitely going through a time right now where things are unfamiliar to the point where it's so unfamiliar, you almost feel like there's stuff hidden from you that's going to be revealed. Something in your intuition is telling you that there's stuff you don't know yet, but that you're coming into knowing soon, maybe in August. August is this kind of month. It's the kind of month where we start to see cycles complete and, you know, the ending of things, revealing truth to us. These lightning bolts are your truth bombs, and that things could get unfamiliar, right? I see that you will be using your intuition, though. You're going to rely on it here in the future. And you're going to allow in the energy of feeling connected to your intuition and letting it take the lead. Now, the only risk you have here that I think is the one that you're overthinking is, will you be able to manage this? It's almost like you're doubting yourself. You're overthinking things and you're sort of like, I don't think I am strong enough to be able to do this. Now, Cancer, the problem with thinking that way is that whatever you think, it's sort of like, it's going to make an imprint on you because you're starting a new chapter. So right now, the definition of who you are mentally, in terms of your mental clarity, your sense of ego versus true self, your intellect, your problem-solving skills, your the patterns of your life are up in the air right now. Quite literally, and I, you know, pardon the pun, because this is an air sign card, but you're at a place right now, Cancer, where you're not sure, you know. And the thing is, it's interesting because it's very unfamiliar. You're just, everything seems new. It's like you're looking at the world with fresh vampire eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I got that idea in my mind just now. Like when a vampire becomes a vampire and they look at the world, they see it very differently. That's almost, but they don't understand it. They're just a baby vampire. It makes me think of, what was that movie? The one with Tom Cruise? The Anne Rice novels. When he turns Brad Pitt in the movie, Brad Pitt's looking around the garden, and he even describes it, looking around with my new vampire eyes, and the world looks so different. He doesn't even understand a drop of what he's about to experience. That's sort of what I'm feeling for you. Not suggesting that you're going to become a vampire, but just that you're going to be different. Your life is changing, Cancer. In the past, it was very hard for you to have inner celebrations, and so I think you're going to welcome this change. I think you're ready for it. I think it's time, but you are overthinking it. You almost need to not think about it. Just let spirit guide you. Let your sense of energy aligning with what is right for you guide you. Allow that to happen. Okay, Cancer, this is very interesting. Now, when it comes to how the world sees you, the world sees you as being very balanced. The world sees you as sort of being the kind of person that understands that give and receive are connected, that true receiving comes from giving. Do you know what I mean? And people see that about you. People see that about you. And this is like a Taurus energy sort of card where it's like you're in balance. You're in balance with your give and receive. And that is a good place to sit. That's how people see you. People see you as being in balance. But you right now don't see that in yourself. Right now where you are at is like you're feeling really challenged to just go for it. You're feeling really challenged to just allow stuff to happen. And it's because it's unfamiliar. So you know, part of you wants the unfamiliar, but the other part of you wants to have control. One part of you wants to sort of release control of this and not be the driver and just be the passenger, the observer. But the other part of you is like, no, I'm a leader, damn it. I need to be in control of this. I need to drive. Well, do you? I don't think so. I don't think this is a time for you to drive because you don't know where you're going. You know what I mean? This isn't a time for you to assert your independence. You don't even know where you're going. This is just a time for you to really feel yourself changing, feel yourself stepping into your intuition, feel yourself understanding yourself from a new mental perspective. This is a time for you to be an observer. This is a time for you to observe and to almost keep your emotional cup closed to the energies of others. Okay, the Queen of Cups is a paradox. She's a very powerful, empathic, psychic energy that can become very, what's the word? Sort of confused, if you will, about whether or not that energy is hers or yours when she comes into contact, right? So she needs to keep herself high up on the cliff, away from the water, not like the King of Cups who can be in the water, riding the waves. He knows how to not attach to emotion, right? He can detach. She has a difficult time with detaching from emotion. So that is the interesting dilemma for you right now, Cancer, is that will you be able to, oh, and FYI, this is you right now. Sorry, I should have mentioned that the Queen of Cups is Cancerian energy. So it's very much you becoming you. And the best thing to do in that case is to not overthink it, which is difficult for you because, you know, you want to be able to plan this, but I don't think there's a plan for you to plan. This is happening according to divine timing. This is all building on some stuff that has happened long in your past. Like you're almost coming to the culmination of all of this stuff that has been building for years, and it's going to be just fine. You got the Sun as your final outcome card, which is a beautiful omen to suggest that you're going to be in a place where it's sustainable, where it is passionate for you, where you feel like you are congruent. The inner and outer you are the same. You are able to be yourself, and it is a sustained energy of, I don't know, it's like this constant creative glow. I mean, when you think, I said this earlier today, but when you think about what the Sun does in our solar system, it's the whole generating powerhouse that keeps all of us alive. And that is the energy you're stepping into, which is just so beautiful for you, Cancer, because I know things are rocky right now. Things feel unfamiliar, things feel uncertain, things feel unknown, things feel hidden. Things might have just been very difficult, but look where you're headed. You know, I often say when I see the Ten of Swords, like you've just got to get up, because there is a little sunrise happening in the background of this card in other decks. And there it is. The sun is going to come out. The sun is going to come out, my friends. The sun is going to come out and you're going to be just fine. Okay? Don't try to define yourself right now. Don't try to define yourself right now. Just go with the flow and let things carry on, right? Okay, let's get an angel card here for Cancer. Surrender. Yes, surrender, Cancer. It is time to surrender and just go with this flow. It's so true. It is so true. You can't drive right now. You don't know where you're going. So just surrender and take the bus. You know, let spirit drive. Okay? You must surrender right now, Cancer. It is not time for you to try to drive. Just surrender and accept and allow, and everything is going to work out the way it needs to. It's going to be a good week for you, I think, Cancer. It could be intense, but it's going to lead you to the sun, which is great. That's a very nice final outcome card. Okay, thank you for those messages for Cancer. Now, let's move on to Leo. My Leo friends, we are in the season of Leo right now. Happy birthday To any Leos watching, we will stay in Leo until August the 22nd. And then we make our sun makes its way into Virgo. So let us see, what are the messages for our Leo friends this week for August 2nd to August 8th? What's going on with these cards? There we go. Okay, Leo, are you trying to control things too much? Is that what's going on here? Is that why this shuffle feels this way? Could be. Leo, let's see. I think my Leos are really shifting. Leos are starting to really shift. Okay, let's see. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, we've got a relationship focus here. Emotional detachment from relationships so that we can transform. Yes. Confidence is coming after you release the idea that you're in loss mode. You are not in loss mode. Things are just readjusting, Leo. You've got the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, which says you're feeling, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, there isn't enough, I need more, I'll be happy when, I'll be satisfied when, I will feel confident when. No. We need to shift all of that inner dialogue. That narrative needs to change. What I see here for you, Leo, is that relationships are the key for you. In the past, you've had lots of relationships that have shown you sort of the side of others that broke your heart, right? You've had relationships that have taken you down, Leo. You have. In the past, there have been relationships that have sort of been emotionally not aligned and have sort of been troublesome, is the word coming to mind. Now, in the present, I see that you do have a sort of better sense of who your key people are, but the thing that is keeping you from really connecting with those people and feeling that closeness in a way that you can trust is this idea that, there's a new emotional feeling coming in for you that says relationships are something different than you used to think they are. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is we've got the Three of Cups crossed by the Knight of Cups. So that says to me that the way you used to think about relationships has changed. And now you've got this new set of relationships. Like in the past, you may have been forming relationships like a people pleaser would, or by, you're forming relationships with people because if people like you, then you like you. Does that make sense, Leo? Like the way and reason and motive for forming relationships in the past was different. And now, as you step into the present, you've got some solid relationships here, but it's almost like you're looking at them in a way that it's causing you to question. It's very interesting here. At the end of this, you are applying false judgments to these people. Okay? That's the problem. It's like you're equating action with meaning. And you're saying if someone does this, it means this. So if someone doesn't call me, it means they don't like me. If someone doesn't want to talk to me, or they're busy, they're saying they're busy, but they must not be busy. They just must not love me. It's very interesting. And it's like you're trying to let go of that. You're trying to not get entangled into that web of emotional confusion. Right? And so we see the King of Cups, who is able to detach from that. It's almost like this is the energy on your mind. You want to sort of step into an energy where you can be around a lot of emotion and stay neutral. You don't want to internalize it. But I think that's what's been going on here, is that you've been internalizing how other people see you, Leo, and taking it as who you are. And it's left you feeling not too great about yourself. We've seen a lot of readings where I remember closing a few Leo readings by saying Leo really just wants to be happy. Leo just wants to feel loved, and Leo wants to feel happy. And I think that that is continuing here for you, Leo. You know, right now you just feel some loss. I think you're identifying with some of these relationships, overly identifying with them, and then coming up with a feeling of I'm not enough and I'm at a loss. Okay? Other people sort of see you as, like I said, getting involved in relationships that just aren't in balance with you. Like this people-pleasing tendency. I feel it for you, Leo. It's like trying to force things together. Aquarius got this card in this position in reverse. And it's like trying to force things together that don't belong together. If people are keeping at a distance, that doesn't mean anything about you necessarily. It just might be a reflection of where they're at with themselves. Right? And it's like other people can see this. They look at you and think Leo's trying to force that dynamic, and it's not happening. You know, you can't force a relationship, Leo. You just can't. And a part of you is wondering, well, should I continue to invest in some of these relationships or should I move on? And I think you're going to move on because there's the star as your final outcome card, which says that you're the phoenix from the ashes. And I see the strength card in your upcoming future energy, which is really, really beautiful because this is a reflection of you, Leo. Strength is you, as represented by tarot. So I think you're going to step into this inner being. You're going to step into yourself and you're going to be this phoenix rising from the ashes. You're going to have faith in yourself. You're going to have confidence in yourself. I think the Leos that this is resonating for are no longer going to search for validation in the external world. You're not going to keep doing this. But this is what's helping you get confident. So don't be too hard on yourself for having been a people pleaser or having been in relationships that are unharmonious with your energy and having sacrificed your energy and your whole thing, you know, having sacrificed for others. Don't beat yourself up for that because that taught you to love yourself. That taught you to have faith in yourself. That taught you to be confident in yourself, right? I think you're going to turn all of this around and you're going to release these people in August. You just, you know, keep being yourself, Leo. I think you're really trying to detach from this emotional circus. This is an emotional circus that you don't want to have anything to do with, but you're present. So it's like the people closest to you. I really feel like this is the people closest to you. And you needing to just be in a new emotional contract with them. You don't want to stay in this old pattern anymore, Leo. You want to have a new contract, a new emotional contract with the people closest to you that says that you're valuable, you know, and that you have the ability to stand up for yourself. I really feel like the Leos that this is resonating for may have been in a dynamic that was not entirely serving them. It was serving others. The dynamic you were in, Leo, wasn't serving you as much as it was serving up everyone around you. And I don't think it was even really appreciated. Do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't in alignment. It wasn't what it needed to be. It was like you were forcing two magnets together that don't belong together. And now you're stepping into a place of like, okay, do I stay in this or do I go? And I think you're going to go. I think not necessarily physically going to go, but you're going to go into a new chapter of your identity that doesn't include self-sacrifice and doesn't include relationships that are unharmonious. And so I think that's good. Good for you, Leo. The Leo reading on YouTube from 2 weeks ago, I had to pause it several times because it made me cry. And I was just so emotionally connected to the sadness that Leos were feeling that I just, it was a hard reading to get through because it just made me cry the whole time. And yeah, I think that cycle is starting to dissipate for Leos. I think Leos are starting to see their self-worth right? They're no longer in sacrifice mode, which I like. They're thinking about themselves. You go, Leo. Okay, angel messages for Leo with respect to this reading. Ooh, what do the angels want to say? Is it the last card? Sometimes it's the last card. What is it, Leo? What are the messages for Leo? Okay, holy love flipped over but didn't fall out. Let's see if we can get one falling out. But holy love, that tells me you're surrounded by spirit, and that love, self-love is the key. You need to love yourself and ground, earth and grounding. So stay present, stay connected, ground, but always know that you are loved, Leo. Okay, so even if you're really grounded, make sure spiritually you understand what is around you and that you are protected, you are directed, and you are loved. And you are favored, right? We are all favored. I love saying that because, you know, when you say favored, it makes it sound like us and them. But if we're all favored, then it's just so nice. So, my Leos, you hang in there. You are developing some good changes here. They are serving you. These changes and shifts you're making with relationships are serving you. And it's going to lead to a place where you are the phoenix rising from the ashes. You're going to feel very grounded in this new phase of who you are. You're going to really feel connected and confident. And you're not going to be at the whims of emotion anymore. I feel like Leos are working really hard on not being at the whim of their emotional state anymore. Yes. You keep going, Leo. Okay. Thank you so much. Excellent messages here for Leo, making some progress. I feel like Gemini and Leo are making big moves. Okay, let's move on to Virgo, our last air sign, or our last earth sign of the day. Virgo. I was looking at Libra when I said that. Ooh, the Ten of Cups just flew out, you guys. Did you see that? The Ten of Cups just flew out of the deck. As I was shuffling here for Virgo, we'll put it back in, but that's nice. Ten of Cups is good. Intense emotional contentment, ongoing emotional contentment, secure. I think Virgos are hopefully going to feel that way this week because there's been a lot of interesting action for Virgos also. Okay, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August the 2nd to August the 8th. I'm gonna cut those again. There we go. Thank you. Okay, Virgo. Big shifts. There's the World card. There's the Magician. There's the Empress. Wow. Wheel of Fortune. The Sun. Okay. Yeah, Virgo, the only thing that's standing between you and the sun right now is your loopiness. You keep looping. Virgos are looping all over the place, going from one perspective to another and unable to detach from this red tape. This is, ironically, this is your final outcome card, and I just felt gravitating towards starting with this card. Very interesting. There are opposing forces in your life right now, Virgo, and they are looping you around. Very loopy times. And it's like, no matter what you try to do, you find yourself at square one. It's very interesting. You find yourself at square one no matter what you try to do, and it's because you could be trying to put efforts towards something that's finished. You are starting a new cycle, Virgo. You're starting a brand new cycle, and it's a new one. It's a new one. You don't know how to wrap your head around this one yet. You don't know how to shift as needed. Usually you can do this. Usually, Virgo, you are able to sort of adapt as needed and face challenges in the physical world and have movement created and have confidence and all of that. But right now, you are finding that it's very difficult to be strategic. I think it's because a part of you just wants to be genuine. And a part of you is like, I am so tired of always being strategic. It's like that's what you're oscillating between, strategic right? Diplomacy and strategy versus authenticity. And you just keep looping here. And you're like, I don't know. I think you're going to go the authentic route in the end, because I see the Empress as upcoming energy for you, and that right now you're working on that. Right now, in the recent past, you've started to try to bring in new energies, right? And you're trying to embody and attract new experiences, things that are different. But like I said, you're finding yourself constantly back at square one, and I think it's because of what you're saying to yourself. And maybe you're being a little bit stubborn, right? Like maybe you're not allowing things to shift. I see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse with respect to how you feel on the inside. So on the inside, you're sort of resistant to change. You want change, and you feel the change coming as reflected in the World card, but you're resisting it, man. You are resisting it. And you're resisting it because it's emotionally unfamiliar. Something in the external world is causing you to feel like stepping off the path is too scary. Okay? And other people see you as that, like, this is almost a very stubborn energy as well. It's like, no, I don't accept that these 8 cups are empty. I do not accept that. I will not walk away from them. That's how the outer world sees you. And they could be right, because we see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So there's fortune coming to you here, and it's almost like you're not allowing it in because you won't accept emotional unfamiliarity. You won't accept an emotional perceived loss. You will not right now. At this point, you will not. Your hopes and fears are that things will not be sustainable. Your hopes and fears really heavily surround the idea of sustainability and prosperity. You're worried. You're worried that you won't be prosperous because, like I said, no matter what you do right now, you keep noticing that you end up at square one. And it's because you're starting something new. You just finished something, and it's almost like maybe you don't realize it's finished. Maybe you think there's another chapter. And so you're trying to build another chapter on top of it, but it's done. And so the more you try to build, the more this Wheel of Fortune sort of has to screech, and it needs grease. The wheel needs greasing because you're not emotionally open to unfamiliar feelings. You want things to be the way they were. You want things to be the way they were. In the past, you were very much able to be, like, you were able to, the things you believed were possible. You saw them before your eyes. You saw it happen. You were the magician in the past. And now you're the Empress. So now it's about creating something in a different way with different tools. And you're like, no, I don't want to. Looping. You're looping, Virgo. And you're going to keep looping until you sort of just release this need to control the situation. You can't always control the situation. I would argue that if we are in control of a situation, it seems that way only. But it's like really the universe is the one controlling it. You're just, in certain cases, going with the flow. And in other cases, when you're not going with the flow, that's what we see here. But when we're going with the flow, it seems like we're the ones driving, which is why you're like, well, it worked in the past. But it's like, no, you were going with the flow with the past because it was a situation that was in line with what you were thinking. Now, your thinking is not in line with what you see in front of your eyes. And so it's causing you to sort of resist and dig your heels in. What's on the bottom of the deck? 4 of Wands. So if you follow your inspiration and you go inspiration over logic, you will find there will be an inner celebration, okay? And it's interesting, very interesting card to see on the bottom of the deck for you, Virgo. It really seems to me like you've got to let go. You know that expression, you got to let go and let God. Exactly. And if you don't like the word God, then use spirit or creator or universe or force or the field or whatever, however you want to think about that that interaction that we have. Like attracts like. So my like is attracted to what? There's something I am bounding against, right? Like there's a force that is coming, something is coming back to me. It's like an echo. Whatever I say just comes back to me. So watch those I am statements. Watch what you think you believe. You know, like what are the thoughts about what you believe right now? Okay, for Virgo, angel cards, what messages do we want for Virgo right now during this time where they are experiencing the end of a chapter? Ooh. Okay, what do we have? 2 cards. Trust the universe, which is exactly what I was just saying. I love that. And courage and bravery, which says don't fear the unfamiliar. It's okay, Virgo. It's okay. Unfamiliar doesn't always mean bad. Be courageous and brave as you face this unfamiliarity and let this wheel of fortune turn as it will. Okay? Trust the universe. Trust it. Nothing is designed to break us. It's only designed to teach us something about ourselves. Let go and let God. Trust the universe. You know, it's the same messaging over and over again. And let that emotion that you fear transmute to courage and bravery, right? Transmute that fear of the unknown into courage and bravery. I love that for you, Virgo. Okay? Wow. Nice reading. Very clear. You will be creating something sustainable. We see the Sun and the Empress lined up next to each other. Hopes and fears and future influences. So you will rise. You will create. You will have a sustainable vision. It will be connected and it will be sustainable. You just have to go for it. And don't try to force dynamics that aren't serving you, Virgo. I feel the need to say that. Trust the universe. If something has been removed, let it go. Let it go. Don't chase things. I just made a bunch of posts about not chasing things today. Don't chase things. If something is meant for you, it will be there. You know what I mean? It will show up for you. And if something's not meant for you and you see it and you feel it, that like something's not aligned with you anymore, you know, love it and thank it and tell it you'll be there if it ever wants to come back. But don't chase it. That doesn't do anything for you, right? Okay, now let's move on to Libra, our final air sign of the day. I'm always so shocked when we get to Libra because it's near the end of our placements that we're reading for. I'm just always surprised how fast the time goes. Okay, Libra, let's see what's going on for Libra for August 2nd to August 8th. I have a feeling Libras are starting to have a moment where they're considering something different. I really think so. Okay, let's see what's going on here for Libra. Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for August 2nd to August 8th. Okay. Okay. Libras. Libra. Okay, what's on the bottom of the deck? Just so curious. The World. The World's on the bottom of the deck. So we are starting... You are just finishing something up, which I can see reflected in some of these other cards, but that's good. I like this for you. World on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so what's going on for you now, right now, Libra, is that you're in a place where what's sort of driving everything that you're experiencing right now is a big, giant rebirth, okay? So your life is literally going from black to white or dark to light or however you want to change, or however you want to describe it. Your life is changing, like almost polarity-wise, like the polar opposite is you're changing, you're rebirthing, you're stepping into a brand new phase of your life. And as a result of that, you're freaking out a little bit, okay? You're starting to not know who you are. Who am I is the big question on your mind. And am I a leader? Am I a follower? Am I an authority figure? And who am I when I'm an authority figure? Am I a nice leader? Am I a tyrant? Is it, you know, like, what kind of leadership skills do I have? Okay, you're really thinking about that, and you're thinking they need to change. You're looking at your leadership skills and thinking, I need to have a different sense of authority when I'm a leader. So it's almost like, I think it looks like you're becoming confident. You're shifting from a lack of confidence to big time confidence. But that big time confidence is almost causing you to want to look at the future in a way that discounts your intuition. Okay, it's almost like your confidence is getting so big that you're like, I'm going to make some moves here. I'm going to make some big moves. And the question is, are you tapping into your intuition when you make those moves? And I'm guessing the answer is no. It looks like you're looking into the future in a way that is like fueled perhaps by the ego, not by spirit. This is also Capricorn energy. So there could be a strong Capricorn presence in your life that came in the past. We also have Scorpio here with the Death card, and Aries with the Emperor. What is necessary for you right now, my dear Libras, is you need some time to really look at this new perspective that is cooking. Okay, you've got a new perspective cooking, because as we can see, you're closing out a cycle. Okay, you're closing out a cycle. It's challenging. This cycle has been really tough to let go of and change. But as you can see, a perspective shift is needed in order to assist this rebirth. This rebirth is hung up or delayed or obstacled or challenged by the current perspective. So you know you need to shift perspective. You know that. There's something telling you that already from your intuition potentially. And it's interesting to see the Queen of Cups covered by the Three of Wands, because it's like there could be an ambition here that's discounting intuition. Ambition crossing intuition, right? Your ambition is taking over, and it's almost like you need to stop and check with spirit. Like, is this aligning with you or not? Or is it ego-based? You know, I love these two cards because it's sort of like the Devil card is the ego card, which suggests that you're living in illusion. You're living in a place that's not as it appears. You're trying to satisfy needs that are never going to be satisfied. You're going to be stepping into a place here, into the future energy with the Nine of Pentacles, which is really, really strong Virgo energy, actually, which we see also in the Hermit, which I'll get to in a second. But I mean, it's like you're stepping into a new phase of your identity that is going to be built upon your inspiration. But you can't leave intuition out in the cold. And that is coming through in the final guidance that, like, don't ever forget that what's motivating all of this is spirit. The truth behind what's motivating this big shift for you, it's not your ego. It's not, right? It's spirit. Spirit's here. Spirit's very present here, shifting your energies, because it's time. It's time for you to create something through your intuition, through your imagination, through your inspiration. It's just that I don't think you know what it is yet. And I think that's because you're in your head right now. And where you need to be is in a place where you're reflecting on the past experiences that you're just closing out, right? Like whenever we close out a chapter, we've got to hit that hermit spot. We've got to stop at the hermit station when we complete a cycle so that we can understand the last chapters that we just experienced, right? Because that will inform what's coming. right? That will help unblock this transformation in the death card. So it's very important for you right now, and it's almost like the rest of the world can see it. The rest of the world's like, Libra really needs some time to detach from the physical world so that they can look at things in a different way. And this is your Virgo energy card right here. And so is, who else was Virgo? There was 2 Virgo cards, wasn't there? Yeah, this one, 9 of Pentacles. 2 Virgo cards. So very, very interesting. It's time for Libra to touch their spirit. Touch that source of your creative self. What enriches your life? You want to be self-sufficient. At the end of the day, Libra, you want to be self-sufficient. And it's almost like when you think about the future, you're not sure how to be self-sufficient. I think your focus in the future is sort of like, you got to listen to your intuition. You've got to listen to your intuition. What's your intuition telling you to do when you're not worrying so much about defining yourself as a leader and as an authority figure and all of this stuff that's almost just, it's interesting. I almost feel like this could be a distraction. You could be procrastinating on the work you need to do, the inner work, by procrastinating in the external world. And that's holding you back. And I think your intuition keeps telling you, let's focus on this. And you're like, no, I'm going to focus on this. And Libras are tricky to convince. You know what I mean? Like if you ever tried convincing a Libra of something, that's a fun day, because Libras will see things the way they see it until they decide they don't see it that way anymore. And God bless them. You got to love Libras, right? But it's time for you to adopt a new thing. You could be right now at a place where you're, don't shoot the messenger, but you might be being being petty, a little bit petty. You might be listening to gossip. You might be sort of like in the why me place where you're looking at things on a material level. Okay, you're looking at things on a material level, and that could be why we see the Devil card in the recent past. It could be a time where your mental state is being driven by your ego instead of spirit. And I think that's going to shift. I think that's going to shift dramatically, but only when you pull the trigger on it, Libra. You've got to pull that trigger. You've got to pull the trigger on when you're going to let this empathic part of you drive. Like when you look at the future, when are you going to allow the driver to be spirit and intuition and your higher self? Right? Use whatever words make sense for you. But the 8 of Wands is really a time where you feel like you can trust your imagination and you're going to go for it. You're going to go for it big time. And so I think we can expect to see some interesting moves from our Libra friends. And they're going to be moves that are in touch and in alignment with their higher self. So it could be an exciting thing if you have some Libras in your life. They are starting a brand new chapter. But there is a truth you have to acknowledge first before you can have that inner celebration and start your new path. The bottom of the deck is speaking loud and clear, guys. Okay, let's see what the angel cards have to say here for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Thank you. And we got 3 cards for you. I love this. Okay. You got 3 beautiful cards. I'm going to talk about that one last. So, blessings and abundance. That's beautiful. That is consistent with that 8 of Wands. Blessings and abundance. Take a step back is very consistent with this idea that you need to adopt a new mental perspective. It's also consistent with the idea that you need time in hermit land to take a step back and evaluate things. Okay? Now, it's also in alignment. Take a step back is also in alignment with this idea that, we need to understand what you could be blocking. Take a step back, get a different perspective. You know, sometimes I say that with this card, like you need a new perspective, but it's like with this card too, you need a new perspective on change. Change doesn't equal bad. Change can equal great sometimes, right? Like change can bring in a whole new chapter, which is what this World card is saying at the bottom of the deck, right? So it's time. It's really time to take a step back. There is something you could be looking at through the eyes of your ego. So take a step back, have a different look, right? I say this sometimes, like be the eagle and fly over the forest fire, but look ahead to the places where there is no fire. You know what I mean? Like look ahead. Don't just look down at that flaming forest fire and say, well, that's what's going on. No, take a step back and get a different viewpoint. Okay. Now, this is funny because the last reading I did for Libras, this card came out and it was no. And I said on YouTube, I said, whatever question you're asking yourself right now, Libra, the answer is no. Okay, so it's funny, and I remember saying that in the YouTube video. I said, leave me a comment below to let me know what this no is related to, and here it is again. So whatever you're wanting to do, Leo, or not Leo, sorry, it might involve a Leo because I just said Leo, Libra, whatever it is that you're feeling sort of like an itchiness to do, something impulsive, the answer is no. Take a step back. Look at it from a different perspective, and I bet you this won't be what you think anymore. This is so interesting because we saw this already on YouTube last week for Libra. So Libras, it's still a no. Whatever it is that you think is the answer, it's not. It's probably your ego talking, okay? Very interesting. Thank you for that reading. Wow, fascinating. Okay. Let's move on. Thank you, Libra. Let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio is our last water sign of the day. Let's see what's going on for our dear Scorpio friends out there. If I remember correctly, last week, Scorpios had a difficult choice to make about some relationships in their life. So let's see if they're ahead at all this week or if things have shifted for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August 2nd to August 8th. Okay, thank you. Let's see what's going on for our Scorpio friends. Wow, there's the Death card again. Okay, and bottom of the deck is the World again, but in reverse. Interesting. Okay, Scorpio. Let's see what's going on for you. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee here. Okay, Scorpio. First thing, Scorpio, the Death card is representative of you. Okay, this is Scorpio energy. And the Death card is all about renewal. Okay, the Death card is like saying you're going to experience the end of something so that something new can begin. And this card is upright, so you're not challenging this. I think you want change. This is good. It's interesting though, because I don't think you've accepted that this chapter has ended. When I see the World in reverse, you haven't accepted that a chapter has ended, but you're ready for something new. But it's interesting. I don't think you understand that this new chapter is coming because something is ending. That may have escaped you. You might not understand that this new chapter is not going to include something from this old chapter. That's my vibe here. I'm getting that you're moving forward with something and someone or something isn't coming with you. Very interesting. Okay, so King of Rods crossed by the Seven of Cups. That says that making choices, emotional choices, are preventing or creating a challenge for you to create your vision and generate change. So you've got a number of choices ahead of you still, Scorpio, and not knowing which one to go for is sort of delaying or creating a challenge for you to generate change in a way that you feel very passionate and connected to doing. There's something impulsive and something that will cause you to evolve, okay? Something that will cause an evolution in your life. It could be the thing bringing about this energy of the Death card here. And it's like the only thing holding it back is indecision. Indecision is holding you back right now. And it's interesting. Top of mind for you is just being self-sufficient. You want to be self-sufficient, and you want to enjoy your life, and you want to feel pleasure, and you want to be enriched. You want to feel like you're enriching yourself, and that you have a solid identity, and that you're grounded. You really want to feel that way, and that's what's top of mind for you. But what's really pushing all of this forward is that you're still looking into the external world for validation. You're still looking for the public to recognize you. It's almost like, you know, when you see people, I don't know, like doing really good things in the world, like volunteering maybe, or like doing stuff that benefits others, but then they have to film it and put it on Instagram. And it's kind of like, you know, maybe you don't need to shove a camera in that person's face when you give them money or you buy them a meal. Maybe you can do that without needing the public to recognize you. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's just between you and that person, and you don't need to shove a camera in their face or take a selfie with them or post a video about how how much of a humanitarian you are. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing. It's like you want to embody all those things, but you also want people to give you credit for it. Interesting. And I think that's what's causing you to have a hard time making a choice, because when you look at all the choices ahead of you, you're sort of like confused about which one to take. It's almost like you're at odds with yourself. There's a part of you that wants to generate change and then and be in a place where you're like really grounded in who you are and this new definition of who you are. But it's like you haven't let go of the part of you that relies on other people's feedback, and you need to let that go. You can't do both. It's almost like saying, I'm going to be, the authentic version of myself, and I'm going to follow the creative vision I have to generate change in the world, but I want credit for it. You know, I want to be able to have acknowledgement for that. It's interesting. And it's coming from a place because you don't think you have enough. So it's like you don't think you have enough, you don't think you are enough, and you don't think there is enough, period. Everything's a competition in your mind. So you constantly feel that pull to check in with the external world because you feel in competition for resources, acclamation, reward, all of these things you feel are in short supply. So you are like, I need public acknowledgement, I need promotion, I need recognition, because there isn't enough of it in the world. And if I don't have it, then what, right? And it's interesting that the rest of the world sort of sees you as needing to just open your cup. Open your heart again, Scorpio, and don't be so worried about what the rest of the world thinks about what you're up to. But I know that's tricky for you right now. Right now, that's tricky for you. It's tricky for you because in the past, you developed very high ideals about who you are and what you want to do and your vision and what you'll allow and what you won't allow. Very strong mental clarity in the past, which in today's world, you might have some Libra in your chart because Queen of Swords and Justice are both Libra, or a Libra could be figuring highly in this. In the future influences, we see Justice in reverse, which suggests that you're going to understand there is no good and bad people. There's unpleasant people and joyous people, but that we're all the same. We just oscillate between good and bad, depending on our behavior, depending on our emotion. We're all capable of everything, though. You know, like whatever you can imagine in your mind, we're all capable of anything on the spectrum. And so it's almost like you're going to start to understand that these ideals that you built in the past are limited. These are limited. This is a limited view, whereas this is like you're opening it up to say that it doesn't have to be black or white. It doesn't have to be good or bad or truth or lies. It, you know, most of the time it's somewhere in the middle, and that people tend to act and behave based on how they feel about themselves, not how they feel about you. But we tend to believe the opposite, right? When you're interacting with someone, we tend to believe that they're treating us that way because that's how they feel about us, when most of the time that's the way they feel about themselves. And so whether or not you internalize any of that or not is up to you. But it's interesting because it's like you're shifting big time here, Scorpio. You've gone from someone who really was sure about everything to seeing that you didn't know much, like most of us, right? We all think, you know, we have these really high convictions and ideals about things, and then as we grow, we uncover the fact that we don't know anything, that life is still a mystery. You know what I mean? But what's not a mystery here is how you feel about yourself. You really are living in a land of scarcity. You don't feel connected to abundance in resources, in time, in relationships, in emotions, in any realm. You don't feel that way. And the rest of the world is sort of saying, Scorpio needs a new start at this. Scorpio needs to start a new chapter, which is what you're doing. We see the world in reverse, and we see the death card, which represents Scorpio. So it's you, Scorpio. You are changing. It's not the world around you that's changing. It's you. You might maybe thought that the world around you was changing, and maybe you were saying, why is this happening? Well, it's happening because you're changing. Do you know what I mean? You're the one that's shifting. And right now, the thing that keeps you up worrying, but the thing that you also really want, is just a sustainable future, right? And you're worried it won't be. You're doubting that you can have this sustainable outcome that is constant and warm and blessed and bright and prosperous. You don't know. You don't know. And that could be why you don't really want to let go of this chapter yet, because you don't want to let go until you can see the step ahead. But it's funny. That's not how it works. You have to sort of take the step and believe that the universe will catch you. And then it does. You know what I mean, Scorpio? And, this is nice. I like this. I feel like Scorpio has made some headway since last week with respect to how they're internalizing things. I think you're starting to see that, you know how we do? You know when you look like, okay, I'm in my 40s, right? And so when I look back at my 20s, I laugh at how sure I was about life. And I laugh at all the convictions I had. And I laugh about these judgments that I used to hold and walk around with, judging everybody, going, that's good, that's bad, that's true, that's false. And now I'm in my 40s, and I can see very clearly that all of that was just nonsense, and that I didn't know what the hell I was talking about in my 20s, but I was operating from the framework that I was in, which is all we can do, right? And so maybe now that I'm in my 40s, maybe when I'm in my 60s, I'll look back and laugh at my 40s as I do at my 20s now. But I think Scorpio is having a chuckle at their past, going, man, I was so sure that the sky was blue, and now I understand that it's just the reflection of the ocean, you know, and that it's not blue at all. You know, or the other way around, sorry, that the ocean appears blue because it's the light reflecting from the sky. And it's like you're starting to see things in a more deep way instead of taking things for granted. And it's very interesting, Scorpio. I think you're really shifting into a very, very aligned place. It's almost like you're going to let this go. But this should be thanked. You should thank the fact that you used to be really consumed with what the external world thought of you, because that's what's responsible for this transformation. And it's going to be one hell of a transformation, let me tell you. Okay, let's see here. Angel cards for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for them on this situation where they have so many choices ahead of them that it's sort of holding them back. These emotional choices. It's emotional choices and mental perspectives that are shifting wildly. Wild shifting. And also releasing the need to validate in the external world. Trusting that inner being can be flexible and not panicking about not having enough, that the universe is abundant. Healing energy. Something needs to heal, Scorpio. That's going to help you. This card is primarily green and purple. So that tells me your heart and your spiritual connection need healing. So you might benefit from a Reiki treatment. You might benefit from some time in nature. We see the Queen of Pentacles. That is a Capricorn energy of grounding. So you might need some time in nature. You might need a Reiki treatment. You might need to just forgive. You know, whenever I see a heart blockage, it's always forgiveness that fixes it. Forgive and compassion and love, right? Like, I mean, and you need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive others. And you need to love yourself here, Scorpio. In this transition, you need love. You need love, love, love. Love thyself. Be open to the universal abundance of healing energy, and emotional transformation will be yours. Wow. Very, very powerful. I love that card, emotional. And look what's on the bottom of the deck is self-acceptance. I like that too for you. Yeah, these are really your power energies this week. Okay, tapping into healing energy and self-love is going to help you move through this without feeling like you're not enough. Okay, you are enough, Scorpio. We all are. Okay, let's move on to Sagittarius, our final reading. It's always so amazing to me how fast these 12 readings go every Sunday. I have no idea how fast. Time is such a funny thing, the way it moves. Okay, let's jump in for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August 2nd to August 8th, Sagittarius. Sagittariuses have some serious stuff going on right now. Let's see what's going on for Sag. Sun, Moon, and Rising for August 2nd to August 8th. Okay, Saggies. Oh, Ace of Cups. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's get started for Sagittarius. Yeah. Okay. All right, Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Sagittarius. Okay, here's what's going on, Sag. You want to get moving on something. You want to get moving so bad on something. You feel like you want to take your vision that's in your mind and you want to be able to see it in the external world, okay? You want to take that vision and you want to be able to see it in the external world. And the thing holding you back is choice. Choice is the thing holding you back. You need to make some choices about aligning things up. You might actually need to make a choice about leaving geographically, physically leaving something. There's a lot of movement. There's movement, and this movement and choice is the obstacle to you creating change in a very sustainable way in your life. You are able to mentally shift like nobody. Okay, mentally, holy moly, Sag, you are in a strong, strong situation mentally. But it's your faith in how things will turn out that's upside down. You are in a place where you're like, this isn't sustainable. I can't keep doing this. I can hear you saying it. I can't keep on like this. And as a result, you're like, and I have a vision of what will make me feel sustainable. But there's too many obstacles that involve choice. And I don't know what to do about it. It looks like to me in the past, this is interesting. I think Virgo had this exact combination of cards, but in the past, you were able to sort of move things around in a very alchemic kind of way, in a as above, so below sort of way. But it's almost like it was happening and you didn't realize you were creating that movement. I think you just thought it was life, right? Like, oh, life was moving like that and it was great, and now life is in a weird place and I have to suddenly make choices, and how come it's not like this anymore? Well, it still is like this. It's just that your perspective on the situation is creating a difficulty. Your perspective on the situation is creating difficulty, and also this idea that it's difficult to align your energies right now. Your creative side and your more decisive side are running in opposite directions, and we need to bring them into alignment so that you can connect the vision that you have for the future into the physical world. And mentally, you're good at that. You're good at shifting your mind, but you're not doing it for some reason. I think it's because you think you're right. I think you're looking at the world in a way that says things aren't great, and you've convinced yourself that that's the truth, when really sometimes it's the darkest just before the dawn, isn't it? And I think in the future we're going to see a very, very grounded version of you. Your identity, although it may seem very fluid right now, where it's not concrete because you feel like there's too much choice and too much movement that needs to happen. So it's almost like that's going to happen. I feel like you're going to do it. You are in anticipation of some major life pattern changes, but you haven't accepted them yet because you haven't seen them yet. You feel them. You know they're coming. Mentally, you're like, I need to mentally be ready for this. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And maybe it's a challenge because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You don't know. You just know that something is shifting big time in your life and you have to be ready for it. Other people see you as having such strong ideals that maybe you're inflexible. You're not willing to adopt a different perspective potentially about the prosperity of the situation you're in, because you're like looking at it and going, there's nothing prosperous about this. And it's interesting, a part of you sort of is craving the validation and information from others, but another part of you is sort of saying, I just want to figure this out for myself. And the more detached I am, the better, which is interesting. And I think this actually will serve you. When I see the King of Swords and the King of Cups next to each other, that says have mental flexibility and detach yourself emotionally from outcome. Shift mentally as needed and don't be married to outcome emotionally, so that if things don't go the way that you thought they would, right, you're able to shift mentally and not have an emotional reaction of incredible disappointment. And so it's like these are the two masculine energies coming to sort of help you be decisive emotionally and mentally, so that you can prepare for this sudden life change that is going to leave you understanding yourself on a new level that is very grounded. But it's interesting. It's like the outside world sees you as being very, very immovable. Like no one can change your mind about how you feel about yourself. And yet there is a part of you that craves public acknowledgement, but also rejects it. It's a fascinating dynamic. It's like there's the rest of the world sees you as not caring about what the external world thinks, but little do they know that you do still care. You do, but you don't show it. You care, but you don't show it. And so the rest of the world's like, oh yeah, Sagittarius, they're solid. They don't care what the world thinks, but you actually do care what the world thinks. You want acknowledgement and you want recognition, but you also dislike that about yourself in a sense. It's like you don't want to want that. You don't want to want that, but you do want it. So just accept that you want it. And it's almost like that will help you sort of feel less pressure with respect to making all of these mental shifts. You know what I mean? And the final outcome for you in the King of Cups is very much an energy that can ride the emotional waves without getting sort of dragged into the drama of it, or feeling so many emotions that you can't be neutral, right? Like, I was reading something the other day that was nice and sort of got me thinking about this concept. It was really nicely written. It said something about, be the observer without having evaluation. Observe and don't evaluate. Observe and don't judge. Just observe. Don't try to categorize it and evaluate it and judge it to understand it. You can understand just by observing too. And it's a really interesting message for Sagittarius, is that there's nothing for you to do right now except prepare and be mentally and emotionally flexible. And don't get dragged into the emotional ocean. Stay centered. Stay centered. And it's like, I feel like saying, don't give a damn about what the world thinks right now. And that might be too harsh, but I stand by it. I stand by it. Don't give a darn who thinks what about you right now, Sag. It's not the time to worry about that. Right now, you've just got to be centered, because you're going through a huge life pattern change. So it doesn't really matter what the world thinks about you. You just worry about what you think about you and be flexible in defining yourself, because you're changing. You're changing big time. And believe it's possible. Sag, please believe it's possible. Okay? Believe that the outcome that's in your vision is possible. Believe that you can connect your vision to the external world. Please believe it. If you don't believe it, it won't be. You have to believe it's possible. If you don't believe it's possible, the universe has no choice but to prove you right. So remember, like attracts like. So are you sitting in a place where you're attracting what you want, or are you attracting your worst nightmare? Because that's all you think is possible, is your worst nightmare is possible, but your biggest fantasy and your biggest daydream are not possible. It's a very interesting time for Sagittarius to believe, or not believe. It's your choice. But it seems like the guidance from Spirit here is to shift mentally away from the perspective that the things that you desire aren't possible, and also try to become emotionally detached from outcome. So whatever outcomes you see, your core stays your core. You don't have to change your core based on what the rest of the world thinks about you and whether or not you're getting acknowledgement. If you're not being acknowledged in the physical or in the external world, oh, that's the wrong card. Sorry, I was looking away from the camera. If you're not getting the acknowledgement that you think you deserve from the external world or that you crave, there's a part of me that wants to tell you to try to release that. That focusing on what the external world thinks isn't going to put you in alignment with you. It's going to put you in alignment with the external world. And that's a whole other ballgame, right? You need to focus on what's changing in your life right now, because that's the highlight here. The highlight is get ready for something that's changing. Okay, for Sagittarius, please. Angel messages for Sagittarius for their reading. Wow, these angel cards don't want to talk to certain signs today. Okay, for Sagittarius, thank you. Okay. Oh, ease and grace. Yes, ease and grace. And look at that, romance and connection. I am telling you, Sagittarius is going to find themselves connected. Once they align to themselves, you are going to attract exactly the relationships that you need to attract. But do so with ease and grace. Don't try to force things. Just be open. Release the attachment to outcomes, and with ease and grace, allow these new life pattern changes to come in. Okay, and one of them could involve a partner. If you're single and looking for a partner, that is certainly on the table. Okay, Sagittarius, ease and grace. Ease and grace for you this week. And open mind, open heart, but not internalizing the external world. You're open to whatever the world wants to show you, and you're ready to align yourself, right, through this Chariot energy here, but with ease and grace. No forcing anything, and not accepting things that don't feel yours. If it's coming from the external world, if it's not in alignment with your inner self, with ease and grace, you can release it back, right? Stay in your alignment. Stay focused on the inner being, because you need to prepare for something coming up that's going to shift everything. I just love this card. It's so just nice to stare at. And he's balanced. You know, that's the other thing, is that there's balance in this card. This is a reflection of being balanced. You need balance. You need alignment and balance right now, my dear Sagittarius. Yeah. And I would say have a look at your perspective on what's possible. You know, if you don't believe it's possible, that's tricky then. It's going to be tricky to see something that you don't believe is possible. It's going to be really tricky. Okay, you guys, I can't believe it. It's the end of our time together this Sunday. I'm always amazed at how fast these 12 readings feel. Okay, so I'm going to do my little spiel quickly. My link for my YouTube channel is in my bio. My email is on my bio as well, energybluerose@gmail.com. And my YouTube channel, the link is there. So have a look at your readings in your 3 placements. This reading will be in Instagram TV very shortly, with timestamps to help you find your sign. And also on YouTube with timestamps to help you as well. And I'll see you next Sunday at noon Mountain Standard Time for your next edition of Messages for the Week. And thank you so much for joining me. And again, you know, if you would like a personal reading, my email is in the bio, so feel free to contact me, or just feel free to check out the videos that I post on YouTube or here on Instagram, whatever resonates for you, my friends. Okay, have a wonderful week, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, sending you lots of love and light.